What's up to all of my Virgos out there, and welcome back to Pulse of the Cosmos. This is your weekly astrology horoscope for the week of June 22nd to the 28th of 2020. So let's get into it. For you guys, my Virgos, a lot going on this week. We have Neptune now officially retrograde over there in Pisces. So this brings 6 planets total to the retrograde party until Venus comes direct here in Gemini on the 25th. So Neptune retrograde over there in your 7th house is like a review of sorts in the area of your relationships, of the projects that you're involved in, of the partnerships that you're a part of. This could be business, this could be romantic, anything. The spirit of the 7th house is very much one-to-one encounters. So things that manifest themselves in your life that way. And this is a review where we're going to be receiving some clarity about what truly is divinely connected. And maybe for some of you out there, it could be that Neptunian effect of maybe where you've been getting wrapped up in some kind of dream or some kind of delusion or some kind of fantasy involving a relationship or a partnership that you're involved in. Because these are elements that Neptune can bring to the table. And it could be a sense where you've almost projected your ideals upon another person and not really looked at the facts and the data of the situation. But I think we've had kind of like a preemptive jump on this as we've had Venus retrograde for the past 40 days over there in Gemini for you, your 10th house, where Venus retrograde has been kind of a preemptive review of your relationships in that aspect and what's connecting and what makes sense in Gemini as we're looking at all the facts and data. And as we're looking in the 10th house, we're seeing what makes sense long term. 10th house is also your career house. So this could very much so be connected to your career life and the business partnerships you're involved in and the direction you want to see yourself going there and what you're feeling connected to, and maybe some shifts and some changes that are elevating you in new directions and more divine spaces in that way. Now, we also do have Mars moving into Aries, where he will be for a while. This is a particularly long transit for Mars to be at home in Aries because he's going retrograde later this year. But for you guys, this is your 8th house. So interesting, you might feel your sex drive notch up a little bit there. Mars being our kind of drive and our force and our assertions, and it kind of embodies some of that sex drive element going into the 8th house, which rules sex and intimacy and death and rebirth and regeneration and transformation. So there's a lot to be said about Mars as he kind of flies through this house over there, because he can be divisive in a sense. He can bring some divide into your intimate relationships where there's some element of your ego wanting to control a situation there, and it's just lending itself to just some discrepancies. And it can also lend itself to you having the desire to connect to a new form of intimacy, a new level of intimacy. This desire, especially as we've gone through this Venus retrograde, as she's coming direct, and we're going through this Neptune retrograde over there in your 7th house, you might be awakening to a desire to experience intimacy in a new way and kind of unveil some of these new, more subatomic parts of yourself that deal with a more psychological nature. You might be craving things that carry a little bit more intimacy and a little bit more depth and a little bit more weight. So a lot of focus on those areas in your life this week, my Virgos. I think overall, we're going to start seeing some things click into gear about what your wants are and what your needs are, and having the assertion and having the confidence and the ability to stand up for what you want and what you need, and not worry so much about what other people are thinking, or how this other person feels about you, or how this job feels about you, this work situation. What do you truly want? What do you need? What are your requirements, Virgo? What are your standards? What are you looking to connect to in those more divine spaces? So in any case, let's see what's going on here in the cards for you guys, my Virgos. Give it a couple shuffles. One more. For good measure. Okay. First card we pulled is Temperance. So yeah, this is about finding your inner balance. Temperance is a very calm, very balanced card. You can see she's kind of balancing the cup back and forth with the water, and it's an eternal flow. It's constantly flowing, and it's coming from within, and it's a very peaceful, very divine space to be in. Now, it's interesting because the Latin root word for temperance is tempere, which isn't balance in the sense that we're balancing a ton of external things. It's balancing in the sense of to combine or to mix something. So we're looking to combine and mix all the elements within yourself to some space of balance. And I think you're going to feel some of that maybe coming this week. So what else is going on here? You know, this card loves to come up over these past couple weeks. We pulled the Seven of Swords. So yeah, there could be some kind of manipulation going on, lying to yourself, other people involved in some kind of circumstance where you're being manipulated, and also where you're just not paying attention to the whole situation. Maybe you're not looking at everything. You think you're getting all the bases covered here, but you're allowing yourself to kind of ignore some facts and some data about a certain circumstance in your life that's kind of pinching you a little bit to pay attention to. So let's see here. Maybe that is a challenge to maybe finding some of this inner balance, is maybe acknowledging some of these things that you're not internally wanting to listen to. Oh, okay. And we pulled the Five of Swords next. So Five of Swords, yeah. So this is maybe you having to walk away from some kind of petty circumstance or some kind of petty battle. I believe my Taurians pulled this card this week as well. So this could be you ending up in some kind of petty battle or petty fight or some kind of verbal altercation with someone in your life because you're not acknowledging some of these things that you're seeing possibly, and it's disrupting this inner balance that you can have. But it's about, again, and I'll go back to the astrology, my Virgos, you're going to have to be vocal about what your needs are and what your wants are and start asserting those, and it's not don't allow other people to necessarily dictate so much of how you feel and be so absorbent to that. You are worth hearing out. You are worth being experienced by other people, and your needs and your wants are worth being looked at. So important things to remember for this week. I love you guys, all my Virgos, so much, and I will be back next week.